Alright, welcome back everyone. Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator. We've made some pretty awesome progress on our restoration project, so I do want to be fairly clear. Once this car is restored, I do think we are just going to straight sell it because we still have a couple things I would like to pick up. This isn't exactly like the car I want to use to put lap times and stuff on. Like, granted, it is a very cool car, and I do really love the classicness of it, but it's not like my favorite car or something I want to race with. And it will give us a good money boost. And if you look over here, there are still some massive upgrades I would like us to purchase. For instance, the dyno for retuning once we get there. I would love to pick up a paint shop to be able to color body parts. We still have not picked up the other expansions to the garage. We have paint shop level 2 and 3. The warehouse isn't a big deal, but the test path is going to be another big one that I really want. It can help us find stuff. It can align headlights and the steering, because that is an issue we have run into before. So there are a couple things we would like to pick up, and once this car is fully restored, it will fetch a pretty decent price, because as it sits right now, we can just take a quick look. You can see it's the $22,000 mark still. Once the engine is finished and it's actually running, it will get a better price. So I would like to keep that in mind for everyone. So we will still restore this. I mean, the restoration is going fantastic. Another level is going to be awesome if we can get up to 6 points. So then we can repair body panels, and then we'll pull all the body panels off of this once again, and we'll repair them. So for today's episode, I think I want to do a couple of junkyards and a couple of barn finds, just to try and complete more of this car. And I'm going to keep an eye out on the work order jobs, I think. See if there is anything that I maybe am interested in. Like, there's obviously some pretty big jobs here. No bonus money though. This here, it talks about spraying it the factory color and everything, so I do think it's important before we carry on with the story to get the paint shop, and I don't want to spend $10,000 in the paint shop, or was it 15? 10 or 15, and run out of money again. So we do need to rebuild up our money. So I think the restoration is going to be important. If we do find a car in the junkyard, or possibly the barn find, that I would like to turn into a race car, we may pick it up. We may even start a second restoration project and be more of a restoration garage more than oh, I totally lost my train of thought. More than a auto shop, like to fix other people's cars. We could focus more on restorations because we do have that kind of money now. So if we find something simple and easy, like, we could possibly look into that. So anyways, that I think is going to be our plan. So if I see anything rather interesting in the garage or in the junkyard or the barn, I will obviously let you guys know. We do have 9 barn finds to go through, and we can visit the junkyard as many times as we like. So I am going to start with the junkyard, and I will keep you guys posted on if anything else happens. Alright everyone, so I did say I would let you guys know if I found anything interesting. So, as I had obviously just said, I wouldn't mind picking up another restoration project if it really kind of piqued our interest. I mean, we do only have $19,000, so we do want to be really careful. I really don't want to throw us into another position where we run out of money. I mean, we could just go in for the long haul and probably just finish putting the engine together by buying all brand new parts, and then the Magnum would be fully restored, and we could count that. But while I was in the junkyard, I have come across 2 cars that are actually kind of enticing. The first one is this guy right here. So this is it's called Delary. is what it ends up being called, a Delary Custom. This looks like kind of an old school 57 Chev is basically what this looks like. It's a pretty cool car, and it would be a fantastic build. The part that has me the most intrigued is the engine here. You can see it's got a distributor and a timing cover, both engine heads on it. So that means it has all 8 pistons, it has all the timing gears, the crankshaft and the camshaft in it. It is a dual carb car, so the intake is different. But this engine would, all of its parts would fit the Magnum, or we could salvage stuff off of the Magnum and transfer them to this engine, and we can install this engine into the Magnum. So if we bought this car, it is currently about an $8,000 car, but we could buy it, steal the engine out of it, rebuild the engine, and then stick it in the Magnum, and then we would have very little to have to finish to fix this one up completely. So that is a possibility, and then I'll take you guys over to the next car. Alright, and this is our second opportunity. Now this is a roulette is what they call it. It's a bolt roulette. It looks like it's modeled after a early 70s Camaro. It's hard to see from here, obviously, because we do not have access to the front end, but you can see it kind of has that trademark Chevy front end. You can see the engine here. There's the, yeah, it's a 71. The engine, it does have the 2 carb on it as well. The engine is not as complete. It looks like it has most of the pistons. It looks like, what else? It looks like it's got some timing cover and stuff. So the engine isn't as, oh, whoops. The engine isn't as complete, and the car is cheaper. It actually, they want about $5,000 for this. So we could do a similar idea, pilfage off of this engine and take this car. Now, I know a Camaro is kind of something that a lot of people would do. It's a very classic muscle car that a lot of people would love to restore. It's kind of a staple point, and we've got a pretty big staple point with the fact that we're doing a Superbird. Superbirds are a lot rarer than Camaros. So our Superbird is definitely cooler in sense. But, you know, I have, this is kind of around the favorite year of Camaro for myself personally. But once again, as far as a race car goes, these aren't the kind of cars I want to set up lap times. Maybe for drag racing, the Magnum might be really good for that. But I did kind of want something a little different. I mean, I would definitely consider a Supra. The Skyline would be a hands down. If I saw one of those in the junkyard, that's what I would buy. And then if we could find another Eclipse even, I would do up an Eclipse. If we get lucky and find a 4-wheel drive Eclipse again, that would be pretty sick. So I am currently trying to contemplate if one of these cars is a good idea. I would really love to, but we definitely do not have a whole lot of money, so I don't want to overspend what I've got. So unless we really want it, it might be a pass on these guys, unfortunately. So I'll see you guys back at the garage. Alright, so here we are back at our garage. I did find a couple of parts. I picked up a radiator. I'm hoping this camshaft will go into our engine. I did find us a engine head to go on it when we get enough pistons. Possible timing cover. And got a case, this barn location. And I did pick up a engine head and cover for a turboed version of the inline 6 that I would like to throw into a Skyline or Supra if we find one. They can be kind of tougher parts to find, which is why I went ahead and picked those up. I'm going to head over to the workbench and check out to see how much of the parts I picked up we can repair. Perfect. That's a nice little chunk for sure. So that'll be good. All right, I'm going to go to our next barn, actually, and we'll see what we can find there this time. Alright, guys, here we are in the barn. I didn't get very far. You start out right here at the doorway, right here, and I gotta say, ask and we shall receive. First car we run into happens to be a Supra, one of the cars I did say I would like to pick up. It does come with its entire body. It's missing a tire. Looks like the engine is mostly complete. It's not the turboed version of the car like I would have liked, but unfortunately it is also way out of our price range. It is a $31,000 buy, and we do not have that kind of money. But I did want to share the moment with you guys because it's kind of funny. I did just say, oh, a Supra. I would settle for a Supra. So it's funny. All right. I'm going to take a look around still and see what else I can find. Alright, guys. Hey, welcome back to the barn once again. I did actually find a really cool car. It also is out of our price range and isn't one of the ones I don't know if I would take it around a racetrack, but it would be a cool drag car. So anyways, here we go. You can see it's obviously already being set up for a drag car. You can see the bigger tires on the back, the big beefier ones, and the small narrow tires on the front. It does have a supercharged V8 engine in it. This is a Bolt Cape, which I do believe is a model after the Chevy Impala, which, if there's a Supernatural fan out there, happens to be Dean's car. It's not the exact model, but this is the car, the body style. Anyways, this is a two-door version of that car. Really cool car. Would be kind of cool to pick it up and restore it, but once again, way out of our price range, $29,000. These barn finds are probably not going to be good for buying a new car, so they've all been very expensive so far. But I'll keep taking a look and see if we can find anything else of interest. Alright, once again, welcome back to the garage, everyone. We did find a couple of things. Fuel filter with a star rating, so that was kind of cool. I did pick up a piston ring because I would like to just try and throw some pistons in this car at some point, and then we did pick up another case. That's kind of the nice thing about barn finds is they do give you cases in them. So I think I may just run through a couple more of these. If I see anything interesting in any of them, then maybe I'll keep you guys posted, but there might be a couple jumps. Like I might do 2 junkyards, not say anything. So, but I do want to keep looking around for a couple more parts before I move on. Alright, welcome back to the garage, everyone. I've definitely done some digging. This is obviously a very long intro to a game for me. I mean, you guys aren't going to see everything I've done because of the junkyard finds and everything, or the junkyards and the barns, like searching around and finding everything. But, so I've been recording for quite a while now. Anyways, that junkyard adventure that I just had was actually pretty interesting. I did pick up 3 batteries, which is pretty sweet, and a couple more parts for our engine, which I am going to get going with everything here. Going to charge everything up, and I'm going to repair those parts. But there was a lot of cars available in there as well, and I did kind of, as you can see, I spent a little bit of money and I may have overdone it a little bit, but we have 2 junkyard cars currently now. Now you might think it's crazy, but this guy right here, it was a $3,000 car and the engine is mostly complete and it has almost the exact same engine as this guy. So I can actually pilfer parts off of one of these engines and put it into the other. This engine is also swappable into this one. This looks like a Volkswagen kind of thing, a Volkswagen Jetta kind of style car. And then over here we have like a newer aged Eclipse, probably like a modeled after a Gen 2 or so, being given the name Moon. It's like an Eclipse Moon or something like that. It's a Hinata Moon MK2, so Mark II. So anyways, I did think that I could pull some parts out of this engine and put it into this one, or vice versa. And I do think that this car we could probably get into a pretty decent condition right away and then we can just turn and flip and sell it really quickly. Let's just for fun. Yeah, we're already making a $500 profit off of this car, but if we try to sell it, and then this one we're losing 500. Okay, so that's kind of my game plan here. I want to pull, basically do the same thing that we did with the Magnum, the Superbird. We'll pull off as much as we can, and then we'll just repair as much as we can, throw it all back on, and then we might just resell the car as is. We won't even bother putting other parts into it. Like I said, we'll combine the two engines together, so that way one car is a little bit more valuable. But I do think that that might be what we do. So obviously when we tell our customers, when we're selling them, we're going to tell them that, oh, you know, it's an incomplete car, but, you know, we finished all these extra stuff. Right? So that's kind of my plan there. We're going to move this guy to the entrance of C. Alright, so we threw the engine back in this car just so that way I can pull these two engines out and try to configure the components together or something, see what I'm up to. But just out of curiosity, I did decide to look at the car's value now that that engine is in. And you guys know there's almost no parts into this engine. It's not even close to complete. But look at this. The engine alone increased this car's value by about $6,000. We can sell this car for $28,000 right now. So this rebuild is going very well, and it's very exciting. It's a lot slower than I wanted it to be, but it is going well. So the first thing we're going to do is move this car over to the car wash. And I do want to detail it and give it a quick wash, so that way it doesn't look like butt when we're in the garage. Alright, and lastly we are going to give this car a quick wash as well, and then we will start tearing into the other car. I am going to leave this one here in the wash bay, I believe, for now. And get started tearing apart that other car. Alright, so the first thing we tackled here was I did remove the gearbox and the drive shaft out of the car here. I'm going to pull off the body panels as well so we can weld up the frame and make it look nicer again. Again, this is not something you have to do in the game by any means at all. It's just something I like to do because it feels just more realistic. People would do the welding when there aren't windows and stuff in your car. Like you tear it right down to the bare minimum and then fix that. That's just kind of how I feel about it. So anyways, I am going to pull all the parts off the engine and pull the block out like we did with the last one to repair the block. And then we'll put it all back together. I'll put it back in the car, pull it out with the engine stand, and then start putting it together on the engine stand. And then I'll work on the running gear here. So that's the plan. I do actually believe that you get a experience bonus for selling cars. Like you get experience for selling them, plus obviously the actual teardown of them as well. You get experience for everything you do. I mean, it's only one, but we do need another 505 XP in order to level up, so that's gonna be fun. Alright, unfortunately a lot of that engine wasn't as repairable as I was hoping it would be. The engine head is done, and quite a few of the other parts, but lucky for us, the block is at least in very good shape. So we have the block of our car here, and I think I want to go tear apart the other engine as well, just to conjoin the parts the best I can, see what kind of condition this other one's in. Alright, so here we are, everyone. We're outside, enjoying some fresh air, hanging out in the wash bay. We got our car here. So yeah, this is a regular engine head on this one, and you can see this is a different engine head as well, actually, because this is two different engines. This one has a turbocharger on it, so the head isn't interchangeable like I was hoping it would be, because that's one of the more expensive parts of the car that have to be replaced in order to become more useful. So I don't know if I'm going to tear this engine apart too much now because of that. There isn't as much salvageable off of this as I was hoping there would be. Alright, so here we are back in the garage, back with our original build here with its shiny new engine. I am going to throw the welder at it. It's going to cost us $500 to fix this frame, so that's nice. So there you go. Nice and cleaned up for us. That's nice. And just out of curiosity, let's just take a quick look. Look at that. We're already going to be up $1,300. We're going to sell it for $4. So we spent about $500 on the welding. So you can take $500 off of the profit. And then, you know, definitely didn't spend $500 on repairing anything. So that's pretty good news. We do have some stuff we can throw on it as well, like a brand new battery. You can just throw a battery in there. I think we've got a brake servo. Yeah, we've got a brand new brake servo. So there's a couple of things we can throw onto the car just to increase its value just a touch. And yeah, so we're going to pull off all the running gear here. Wait, 1 second. Alright, so we're back here in the wash bay. I'm definitely going a little bit round in circles here. I was looking at the parts we had, and we actually only have 2 usable pistons out of that other engine, so I'm hoping that we can get 2 more usable pistons out of this one, so that way that other engine would be a little bit happier. Yeah, so far it's not looking good. Oh, one. Okay, we did score 2 pistons out of this car, so that's exciting. Alright everyone, so we did end up actually pulling the crankshaft out of the other engine as well, because this one was toast, so I wanted to get a working crankshaft in this car. We're gonna throw the best of basically the worst parts on this car. Anything orange, if it's red, that's gonna be a problem. But for now, this is how we're gonna do this. Alright, so that's the gearbox and a little bit of the running gear back together. We'll throw a little bit more of the top end together. I did steal the radiator out of the other one as well. And there we are. This engine head, however, is going to be where I have to stop that because it is in such bad shape. We do have a new alternator from a different car. Don't think, yeah, no water pump. No power steering, unfortunately. So that's not too bad. So the car does look like it is in slightly better shape. You can see we're actually at $3,600 and we haven't really spent anything yet. So the next big thing is going to be starting to tear apart the cross member and all the steering components and everything. We'll fix up what we can and we'll see where we're at from there. A lot of the parts on these two cars almost look interchangeable, like for running gear, and that's just kind of how running gear seems to work in this game. They make all the running gear very interchangeable, so I may actually try to pull all the running gear off of the other car as well, and we'll see if we can end up making this car a little bit more complete. So I'm going to run over, I'm going to grab the other car, pull the front end off of that, or all the suspension off the bottom of that one, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, so you can see it's kind of already similar looking. I don't know how similar. There are different variations of the cross members. This frost member right here. But I am interested to see how much of this could possibly swap over. Plus, there is the possibility of just better quality parts than what was on the other one. It's a very rusty car. She is in need of some serious love. By the time we're done with this thing at the moment, it's going to be basically just a frame with a engine block in it. So, but it's a chance to possibly get that other car fixed up a fair bit more, and maybe we could even just sell it this episode. I have tried to do this before where I picked up a couple cars and tried to mesh them together. It did, however, fail because they basically both had the exact same wear and tear. So I just ended up getting doubles of a lot of parts I didn't need. And there will be a little bit of money spending on these cars as well. Like rubber bushings and stuff, all the cheap stuff, right? That stuff is easily refunded. So we will take the time to do that. Make sure the brakes are in good order and stuff too. It'll just be mostly the engine that isn't back together and body panels and stuff like that. Alright, and there we have it. This car is now officially down to its frame. We will pull the body panels off and maybe consider... Nah, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's see. We are going to lose $3,600 if we sold this car right now. That is kind of hilarious. Alright, we're back here with our Volkswagen. I gotta admit, I kind of decided to do the Volkswagen up instead of the Moon because this one is orange, and orange happens to be one of my favorite colors. The other one's white, and it's plain, and it bores me. So I discriminated against the cars based on color. But it's okay, because I plan on selling this one quickly, and the other one I plan on doing up a little bit, so not quite playing favorites like it might seem. They are both going to get love and attention. But at the end of the day, this Superbird is the one we are most concerned about. We want a full restore on that. We do want to take it for a rip around the track just to see how it performs and everything. I did read that there was a way to make money really fast. They say you're supposed to go to the junkyard with like $30,000. You basically buy everything in the junkyard. I'm assuming mostly orange parts because they can be fixed. So you do that, and then you come back to the garage and you fix all of the parts that you can, and then you resell them, and apparently that makes you a bunch of money. I've never attempted it, and it does make me nervous. But I would assume that it has to be orange parts. You can't get away with that with the red ones because you can't fix them. Unless it's one of those parts like a battery that can be recharged even though it's red. But I don't really think there's any other parts in the game like that that are red and you can still actually use. Basically, once it's red, it's no good anymore. Right, looks like both of these cars had bad rear cross members, so I'm not excited about that. I'm gonna go and we're gonna repair as much as we possibly can. So I'll get started on this. Alright, so that unfortunately didn't go quite as well as I was hoping it would. I did mess up and I wrecked a couple parts, so we're going to sort this by name just to kind of get a clear view of everything. Yeah, we don't have an upper suspension arm. There's all the hoods and stuff. We got a couple steering racks going now for sure. Did get a couple of spring caps. So that's all bushings. So many bushings. But you can see right here, oh, we do have 2 rear wheel hubs, but I did break the other 2, so that was unfortunate. And then upper suspension arm, I did wreck 1. Then these cross members are both gone. I got to it. These one's good. And then here I wrecked another rear suspension arm. And then an axle knuckle housing. I wrecked that. Can't repair tie rods and mufflers and stuff. There was the front hubs. These front wheel hubs, I actually messed up 2 of them, but lucky for us, we actually have 2. So we might get kind of lucky with a lot of this. So we're gonna see what we can put together. Alright, so this isn't going quite as well as I had hoped. You're definitely putting on some bad parts mixed with some good parts. So it's looking kind of funky down here, that's for sure. A lot of this stuff I actually now have to go pick up a couple things. Our lower suspension arm, we do only have 1, but the rubber bushings are no good. So we need to get a stack of rubber bushings and a stack of small rubber bushings, and then we'll carry on with putting what we can together. I just don't even have a lower suspension arm, unfortunately. We will have to go buy one. Cost us $150, but that's unfortunately all we can do. Alright, so there we go. We've got some of this stuff put together. We are going to have to pick up some wheel bearings and some brake pads, so I'm going to do that real quickly. Alright, I actually had to pick up a front axle knuckle cover as well, which I had kind of missed. We're going to keep putting this front end together, and we're going to see what happens. Gonna need a new front drive axle. I'm not going to worry about buying all brand new pieces for sure, as you can definitely tell, but some of this stuff I will pick up just to get it back together. Alright, there's the front end back together. We do need to pick up a new rear cross member, unfortunately, which is going to be a bit of an expensive part. So we are down into the last $5,000 of our money. So like I was saying before, we're probably just going to sell this car as soon as we're done with it, regardless of how much money we're going to get out of it, just to keep our money up. And hopefully it'll just boost us up higher than what we were, is my hopes. And most of the rear end parts were actually in pretty decent shape, so we might actually get some good part. It's probably gonna do pretty well back here. We're gonna be able to do most of these parts, I think. The sway bar was unfortunately unrepairable,
Those guys are unrepairable. It's interesting that only some stuff is repairable, but not all of it. Alright, that'll be one side put together. Get going on the next one. We are going to have to pick up some brake discs because I didn't have any spares, unfortunately. And I forgot to pick up a set of wheel bearings, wheel hub bearings for the rear. I had forgotten, so we'll do that as well. This will be the last piece for the moment. I have to go pick up 2 brake discs, 2 brake pads, I guess. Alright, so we got the last of the parts we need. Throw a wheel hub bearing in. Throw in a cap. Throw in a brake disc. Alright, and that is all the running gear back together. So let's drop her down now. So you can see, like, she's coming together. She's looking pretty nice. Our body is definitely in a 1% zone. Our frame is looking good. Our interior and our parts aren't looking too bad, I guess. So if we come over here, you can see we've got a lot of better parts now, and you can see we can actually sell this car for $10,000 now. So that puts us back up to 15, which is almost what we were at when right after we bought this car originally without the other one, I believe, because we had 18, I paid 3, that put us at 16. So right now we're basically back up to 15, but then we've got that car. So I do think that means that we aren't actually making any money just yet, which is a little unfortunate to think about. We do have some tires here. So let's see, we got a 12, a 12, and then those are the 16s off of the other car. So let's put her tires on. We're gonna throw those moon tires on the other side and see if they actually fit. Hey, look at that. Those tires actually fit in those wheel wells. That's actually really beneficial. Right, I can't do any pumps or anything. I don't think I have a starter, no. Do we have an ECU? No, I did end up selling it, didn't I? Alright, unfortunately, that is as far as we can get with this car. Oh, and that did increase us by a couple $100, so nothing too crazy. If we go into assemble mode and we put some of this body back together. Alright, so she's back to basically what it looked like when it came in, just new and cleaned up. We are making an $11,000 payout on it, so that puts us back up at 16. So it's basically... that puts us, yeah, at 16,000. So that's what we were at before we bought the moon. And the moon is right now a detrimental problem. So yeah, once we fix up the moon a little bit though, if we repaired more of this engine, this car would be worth a lot more too. But I may have gotten a little bit too crazy with purchasing 2 cars like that. Sorry, I was trying out something very different. I thought maybe we could get away with maybe some other restoration stuff, trying to build up some money. I'm just really trying to get us up there, but it seems to have possibly backfired. I didn't plan this out super well. I was really hoping this would work out, but it's starting to look like it won't. All our running gear is fully together, so there's nothing else to do there. It's just mostly engine stuff now, and there wasn't a whole lot left of this engine to deal with. So a lot of the stuff that we're gonna have to put on it to make it worth anything, we might have to sell. So might have to look in the junkyard and stuff and see what we've got going on there. For now, I do want to open these cases and see what we can get. Awesome. So opening those chests, we did end up reaching level 11. So let's take a quick look over here. We have 7 skill points. We can officially unlock the renovator and we can now fix body parts. So we're gonna grab those body parts off of our Superbird here and we're gonna fix them up and put them back on. Alright, so here we are at the body table. So let's start repairing some of this stuff. Oh, I gotta be a lot more careful than that. Alright, there we go. We have our party parts repaired. I also did do this little guy here, just for, you know, argument's sake. Why not? So here we go. We're gonna put our body panels back on our Superbird. Unfortunately, you cannot repair headlights. So there we have it. Oh, a little bit of sparkle in the sunlight. There she is. That's her all cleaned up and ready to go. So how exciting is that, everyone? She is starting to come along very nicely. And we are going to take a quick look here. So it has become a $31,000 car just based off of our body panels. That is super exciting and I can't wait to finish this. We are getting so close. And of course we've got this piece of something that I've totally mucked us up on. Well, we can, yeah, it's still 11. So, alright, well, I'm gonna call it there for the day. My brain's feeling a little bit screwed. I don't know what I'm thinking anymore. So I hope you're all enjoying watching me fumble around aimlessly, pretending I know what I'm doing when I'm not sure. So I'm looking forward to getting further into the Superbird. I am hoping we can turn around and make some money off of these 2 cars we just picked up. I might try to boost some money on our next episode and do some jobs, boost up some money, and then I might just spend some money to try and put these cars back together. I'll check the junkyard and stuff. I might do that off camera too, just that way it's not a guessing game to like how long I've been filming for, because I've been filming for quite a while now, and honestly, I'm hoping to cut this down, right? So anyways, I hope you're all enjoying. Hope to see you guys in the next one, and peace out.